Good afternoon. I'm actually matching up some super shoes today. I wanted to take all these shoes to the track on Saturday, but it rained the entire day, so that didn't really work out. So I'll be doing a comparison on the road today. But right now I'm wearing a shoe that was an old favorite of mine that I haven't laced up in a while. This is the Nike Vaporfly NXT 2, which I currently have my 5K and 10K personal bests in. So I really wanted to match these up against the new ASICS Metaspeed Edge Paris and see how they compare, because they both are very light, fast shoes. So I just wanted to see how they feel right against each other, because I haven't run in these ones in a little while. So I'm going to test that out. Then I'm going to compare the Adios Pro 3 and the Saucony Endorphin Pro 4, because I think those two shoes kind of fit more into the marathon type shoe. They're a little bit bigger, not quite as fast as these first two, but I feel like the efficiency that they give you works well for a longer race. So I'm going to kind of match them up, all four, but I'm really looking to compare more the Vaporfly to the Edge Paris and the AP3 to the Endorphin Pro 4. Okay, a bit of a disclaimer for today's test. It's Monday, it's lunchtime, and I haven't had lunch yet. I usually run first thing in the morning, so I did have an energy gel about an hour ago, but I'm feeling a little bit lethargic today. Also, it was just a weekend and I ate a lot of Italian food and had a few adult beverages, so I'm not feeling 100% today. I'm not hungover or anything like that. I just don't feel the fittest I usually do when I go out for a speedier run. So I'm probably not giving my best effort to these shoes today. I think I'm just gonna get slower with each mile, not having it to do with the shoe, but just me not feeling 100% right now. But so far I'm on the third shoe. So I started with the Vaporfly, then went to the Edge Paris. Now I'm in the Adios Pro 3. And the biggest difference between these three shoes, I feel like with the Vaporfly, that was nice to get back in that shoe. I haven't run in it in a while. Has a really smooth transitions, not a very propulsive shoe. But I remember the reason why I kind of stopped using them. They have too much instability for me in the heel. I really turn my ankles inward when I run in that shoe. So it's good for me to run fast for short distances, but I can't really take it long. And then surprisingly to me, doing the Edge Paris next, those actually feel more propulsive than the Vaporfly 2 to me. The foam has more energy return to it than Zoom X, which is kind of crazy because that's kind of the energy return king. But I was definitely feeling more bounce and spring from the Edge Paris than from the Vaporfly. It also feels a little bit more stable too. That was one thing with the Edge I was initially concerned about, is stability, but it does feel more stable in the heel than the Vaporfly does. Now I just kind of jogged a bit in the Adios Pro 3, and it's almost like this shoe is a combination of those last two shoes. It's not as bouncy as the ASICS shoe, but it's more stable than the Nike shoe. So it's almost like a combination of those two. It weighs more than the ASICS. Again, I think I would go slower for this over 1 mile or a shorter race than either of those two shoes, but this might be better equipped for the marathon because it's kind of more predictable, more stable, and gives you kind of that steady ticking over of speed. So not as much for short bursts or for absolute top speed, but for a longer race, I feel like that's where this shoe really shines. So I'm gonna get another mile in these, and then I'll close with the Pro 4, and then I'll have lunch because I'm hungry. Good morning. So I didn't want that video to just be based on those lackluster miles that I ran the other day. So today is a Good Friday. Schools are closed, so I figured I'd head to the track in the morning and get in some faster miles, try and do a better job this time. But unfortunately, the high school lacrosse team is using the track. It's a day off. Come on, coaches, give them a break. So I'm at the middle school now. I've never run on this track before. I think it's rather, it'll be like me going back to the old school gym in Rocky 3, where he trains with Apollo Creed. And it's not quite as nice as he's used to. So we'll see what this track looks like today. But I'm gonna get a couple miles in these shoes again on a lackluster track and hopefully have more than a lackluster effort. Okay, like I said, I've never been to this track before, but it'll basically just be like running on the road, but in an oval shape. This is paved. So won't be getting any squishy bounce from the track today. All right, it's cold and windy, because of course it is. It's always windy these days. So just got a mile warm up done in the shift 3, and now I'm gonna do a mile in the Edge Paris. And just wanted to, before I started this, just take a look at the difference in size of these shoes on my feet. The edge is just so much more narrow, and the upper is so fitted, it really hugs your foot. The shift is really not a wide shoe in the upper, but it's very evident the difference, how much more of a racing fit, a tight fit you get from the Paris. So let's see what I got in me this morning. So that was a little better. I think that was about a 6:28, something around there. I made the mistake of pushing too hard right off the bat. These shoes feel so good, and I'm able to get up to such a nice top speed that I immediately did that. And you forget you got 4 laps to do, not just 1. So I bet you my times went up with each lap, except the 4th lap was probably faster than the 3rd, because I did still sprint to the end even though I had nothing left there. But the Edge Paris, really an amazing shoe. It's so lightweight, has a great amount of spring, really nice bounce from the energy return, but it feels very directed. I think the placement of this plate being low, kind of encouraging that forward lean, it directs all that bounce forward as opposed to upward. So it really does keep you driving forward, leaning forward, and you're just able to achieve speed much easier than a shoe that doesn't have that geometry. So the bounce and roll of this, really phenomenal, combined with that super lightweight. So I doubt I'm gonna go any faster than that today in any of the other shoes. I'll give it a try, but again, I think my fitness just not up to par this week. Now that mile in the Vaporfly 2s was very telling. And what I mean by that, I remember the first time I ran in a pair of Vaporflies, and I was like, what is this magic shoe? The propulsion that you get from this, the forward lean, the efficiency, you know, it's been battle tested in a million marathons and races, and tons of people do great with this shoe. But I had just run in the Edge Paris and switched to these, and I was like, where'd the magic go? They're still very smooth, propulsive, but they just lack that aggressive bounce that the Edge Paris has. Almost like The Edge Paris is like one of those little yippy dogs when it thinks you're about to go for a walk, and it just starts jumping all around everywhere. Like, we going for a walk? We going for a walk? That's how it feels at all times. It's like, do you want to go fast? Do you want to go fast? It's just encouraging you. It's bouncing, it's rolling, it's making you go faster. Whereas the Vaporfly is kind of more relaxed, which is a funny thing to say about such an aggressive shoe, but it's kind of smoother with its transitions, and it's helping me glide along. But I settled into a slower pace, and it felt comfortable at that slower pace, but it wasn't really encouraging me to pick up the speed like the ASICS shoe was. So again, it's still a very fast shoe, but I had that, you know, again, that feeling when I first put these on that they were magic. Now I feel like the magic has switched to the Edge and making these feel more like a normal shoe. Still a really good normal shoe, but the Edge definitely has the edge to me, pun intended. So yeah, I think in a short race, I'm 100% gonna pick the Edge over the Vaporfly going forward. I'll probably use these more as a training shoe now, because they've been supplanted as the short distance speedy race shoe to me. Now I'm gonna run in the Pro 4 and the Adios Pro 3, which again, I feel like is a different type of shoe. They're all technically carbon plated shoes you could use for the marathon, but I feel like those last two are really more designed for those cruisy miles, less designed for short, quick efforts. So we'll see what those feel like today. Well, all right, the Endorphin Pro 4 is really making me like it more and more each time that I use it. I really love the fit of this shoe. It fits my foot absolutely perfectly. I like that the heel collar is not stiff. It's just super comfortable for me to wear. And they have a really nice balance here of softness and propulsiveness. It's not too soft, it's not too firm. It is kind of just right. I'm getting a lot of bounce from this shoe, but also that's combined with that nice forward roll. That's something that I felt like was missing a bit from the Vaporfly. This shoe also feels bouncier than the Vaporfly, which is surprising to me. This actually feels the bounciest of the three so far. The Edge Paris has almost as much bounce, but it's more directed forward, it's more speedy, whereas this one's more cruisy. But I'm super confident in this shoe as a marathon shoe for me right now. It's just so comfortable, has a nice wide forefoot and heel. I was kind of stepped it back to kind of half marathon pace for me those last couple miles. I didn't feel like killing myself, since I still didn't feel like I really had it in me today to do so. But these felt great right around 7-minute mile pace. And when I run my marathon, I'm actually going to be running a little bit slower than that. I'm shooting for like a 7:15, and these just feel really bouncy and assistive and cruisy at that pace, so helping to me maintain that little bit faster pace without putting forth as much effort. And that bounce in the shoe actually feels like giving me more that would help me a lot more over a longer race like a marathon than the Vaporfly. Again, I feel like the Vaporfly amps up whatever you're doing. So if you're running really strong and hard, it's going to give you a really strong response and work with you really hard. But if you're feeling tired and running slower, it just doesn't have it for you at those slower paces, where this shoe is still bouncing along and feeling great even if you slow down. So today had two very surprising results to me as I try not to fall down this hill. That I liked the Vaporfly the least of those four shoes. So that's a big surprise to me, because that used to be one of my favorites. And then the second one was I just got the second fastest time on my last mile in the Adios Pro 3. So when I was the most tired, that shoe just kind of dialed in and felt great for that last mile. So the results here, I definitely think that the Edge Paris is the fastest shoe of the group for sure. The Endorphin Pro 4 has really nice bounce and roll. It feels less speedy than the Edge, but more stable. And then the Adios Pro 3 kind of splits the difference between those two shoes. It's not as bouncy as the Endorphin, but it's more stable than the Edge. So it's kind of like combining those two shoes. It has less bounce, but a good propulsion, a nice roll to it, and it's just really good overall. So how does it feel running in and comparing these shoes? It's kind of like bringing a Lamborghini, Ferrari, Porsche, and a McLaren to the racetrack and driving them all and having some fun. So it's going to be a good day for you regardless of which of these shoes that you wear. These are 4 really excellent shoes. I think some of them have strengths and weaknesses over the others. Kind of from the earlier video, you can see I really think that these shoes compare more. These are both on the lighter side, a little bit more stripped down. These are both better at going faster than those 2 shoes. I think this is probably the most versatile shoe of them all because it's the lightest, it's the fastest, it has a lot of bounce. I could see this being very good for long races as well as short races, whereas with the Vaporfly, I'm kind of limited to those shorter distances because of the instability in this shoe. Still, my only concern with the Edge Paris is just its ability to go long because it's such a narrow shoe. If we look at these next to each other with the Pro 4 here, you can see how much smaller this shoe is overall. It completely fits inside of this one. So I'm getting a lot more stability from the Pro, so this gives me more confidence in a longer race that it's going to be there for me and supporting me in those later miles. Very soon I'm going to take this for a long run and see if I can, how it feels for me stability-wise over that longer distance. Because if I can take this for a marathon, this is the shoe I want to use. I'm going to use this in every race upcoming. I'm going to use this for 5Ks, 10Ks. I know I could use this for a half marathon. I'm just a little bit concerned about taking it 26.2, where this one has a little bit of an edge to me right now, just because of the stability and the comfort that this one has. It's not as fast, but I'm also not trying to go top speed when I'm running a marathon. And I think this kind of might slot directly into the pace I'm looking to run and give me that comfort and stability as well. Something else that really stood out from that test, though, was how well the Adios Pro 3 did. This shoe is an old shoe. It's almost 2 years old since Adidas has made an update to this, and I guess they're just not updating it because it keeps getting on podiums. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So this is still performing really well. I was very surprised because, again, I didn't feel 100% when I went out for that session. After the first mile, I knew I wasn't going to be running fast as I could every mile, and I was kind of decided, all right, it's not my day today. And by the time I got to this one, I was just ready to go home. I was like, do I even want to wear this shoe again? Or, I know pretty much what it's like. And I did that last mile, and it just, held my hand and walked me through it, and it actually ended up being faster than the Vaporfly and the Pro 4, even though I was the most tired. And this shoe is just an excellent shoe. I have over 100 miles on this shoe at this point, so it's also the most used. But Lightstrike Pro, the foam that Adidas uses, is really one of the most durable foams. I used these for the New York City Marathon. This is another shoe similar to the Pro 4 here. It has a very wide forefoot and heel. They're almost the same exact size. So both of these have a really stable platform to run long on. So this is still a really excellent marathon shoe, but I find the Pro 4 just a little bit lighter, a little bit bouncier, a little bit more comfortable for those longer miles. So what shoe am I going to wear for the Chicago Marathon later this year? It's probably going to be one of these two. I'm going to see how this one does when I go long. If this can go long and be stable for me, it's the lightest shoe. It's going to give me the best chance to put down the best speed I can during that race. But right now I'm feeling a little bit more confident in this one with the stability. The wild card in this too is that I know the Super Blast 2 is coming out. There's the Super Blast 1 back there. I also love that shoe. The Super Blast 2 is supposed to have this same foam, this Flight Foam Turbo Plus, and that original one with the regular Flight Foam Turbo is already very propulsive and stable. I assume this foam is so light, it's probably going to be lighter and bouncier. So if that ends up being weight-wise around this one, but has that max stack and this foam in it, that could be a game changer as well. So I'm looking forward to trying that when it comes out. I'm not sure when it's going to come out. I think it looks like it's going to be in the fall potentially, but that's one's on my radar as well that I'll definitely be picking up. For today, thanks for watching the video. Please remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.